and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we're building something that I at least feel like is a little bit different from what I usually do, because you guys know that I don't, or at least if you've watched a lot of my videos over the past like 4 months or so, I've talked about it quite often, but I don't really like to build community lots. So it's not very often that I do them. In fact, I think I've max built 2 community lots now on the channel, so it's really not very often that I do them. But I'd had this kind of lot planned out for months and months. I just hadn't gotten around to build it just yet, because we're building for my save file. So we're building in the most right area in Oasis Springs, which is where, if you start up a new save file, Johnny Seth's trailer is in this area, so hopefully you get what area I'm talking about. And I got all these trailers built for this area now. I'm still missing the 40 by 30, but I have plans, or I have planned out what I want to do for that lot. And this is the 30 by 20 that's next to the 40 by 30. So for this lot, I'd planned like months and months ago that I wanted to build like a teen hangout, and I wanted it to look something like this. But since I planned it out, we actually got Strangerville, which was a lot of help, because as you can see, I'm using the sort of like metal wallpaper that we got with that pack, and it fits the whole vibe that I'm going for perfectly. Plus, recently we also got the junked cars that I put at the front of the trailers as well. So when I saw the trailers, the cars, when I saw they got unlocked at the Debug catalog, I was like, this is the time. It's time now. You gotta build that lot. This is perfect. Let's do it. So that's what we're doing today. We're building a teen hangout. Of course, anyone can go to this lot and hang out here. It's just, I had this background story in my head for this specific lot, because I want, in my save file, if it's possible at least, I want there to be a club that's kind of for troublemakers, like teens that are troublemakers. It kind of reminds me of the one that we already got with Get Together, but I want it to be just solely teens. And they're not necessarily mean, the teens in this group, but I definitely feel like once they get together, they can be sort of mean to other people a little bit. I don't think it's one of their club traits or like one of the things that they get points for. I haven't fully decided on like their traits and stuff just yet. I haven't gotten to actually making the group yet, but I'm so happy that they have a hangout now. So basically, as you can see, we're dealing with 2 trailers that are kind of stacked on top of each other. At least that's what they're supposed to look like. And they've renovated them somehow. They found these 2 trailers, and then they've just decided to put some resources into it, renovate the trailers, turn it into their own hangout, so they can go there if they get tired of their parents or something like that. So there is a bar inside of the trailer. I don't condone underage drinking, but when it comes to The Sims, you know, it's not really actual drinking, so I feel like it's a little bit okay, because they don't get drunk or anything like that. It's just a bar, you know. You can imagine that they order soda or something like that from the bar, but it's also to make sure that at least, you know, other people or other Sims can also visit the slot, so it won't just be for teens. Plus, we also got a bar from Strangerville that actually fit the vibe perfectly, so I had to use it. You'll see that once we get to the interiors. I played around quite a lot with like colored lights this time, because usually you'll see that very often lately I've been going into live mode while building to change the lights so they're all white, or at least if it's candles, I'll turn them into this sort of like bright yellow. But for this build, I kind of decided to play around with the colors just a little bit. So you'll see some purple lights outside and also some blue. I've also played around with some red lights as well, and I think there's some green in the basement. I'll get to the basement later, because I actually made sure that there was room for, if you do want to play in this build and you want to play it as a residential lot, you can actually do that, because I made sure to put this kind of like, it's not an apartment obviously, because it's more like a studio room, so it's a fully playable room that's just in the basement. It's separated from all the other rooms in this in this build. So you'll see this little staircase on the left of the bottom trailer, and that's where you walk down into the living quarters underneath the trailer. So I figured it would be kind of cool. Like, maybe imagine you have like a runaway teen or something. They could definitely live in that basement underneath the teen hangout. You see where I'm going with this? It kind of fits the whole vibe of this build. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like it. I like how it turned out. I think it was fun to try something new. And yeah, I feel like it's very close to what I'd kind of imagined for this lot, so hopefully you guys will like it. But yeah, like I said before, it's kind of like the background story is that a bunch of teens got together. They've been friends for a long time, I suppose, met each other through school or something like that, and they didn't really want to hang out at home, and you know, teens don't really go to the nightclub or the bar or anything like that, so they needed to find their own hangout area, and that's when they came across these two trailers and just decided to renovate them, put some money into it, just a little bit here and there, because obviously you need to, when you're renovating some trailers and turning them into something you can actually hang out in, you kind of have to spend some money on it. So that's what they did, and it turned into this very like there's a lot of random stuff on the walls. I just wanted to go a little bit crazy with both these neon lights you can see here on the left side, and I've also put posters here and there. I found some graffiti that I completely forgot even existed. That was from Get Together and also Get Famous, actually, because I've never used that graffiti before, but I was like, if I have a teen hangout and they're in these kind of like old trailers, sort of like containers, they're stacked containers is what they're called, not trailers, I need to find some graffiti I can put on the walls of these containers. So yeah, I found some from Get Together and from Get Famous that I've never used before, and it was super exciting to use it for the first time. So yeah, it's just kind of like, I really tried to decorate it according to like the sort of club that I had in mind. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's not the most, not saying that it's not the most decorated on the interior, because it definitely is. There's a lot of stuff going on the walls, but there's not a lot of furniture because they couldn't afford buying too much furniture. Plus the furniture that I'm using, I really wanted to go with like rundown furniture. You can see that it's been used. This couch right here is, I think it's supposed to be from, like, the mesh is from base game, but they've kind of recolored it into something that looks very used. So it's from City Living, but I think the mesh is from base game. But it's that kind of vibe we're going for. I've also used these stacked suitcases over here that are also from City Living, and the coffee table is actually made out of a crate that we got through Cats and Dogs. I don't know if you need to activate bb.showhiddenobjects for it to show up in the catalog. I don't think so, and I don't remember where I found it either, but I just remember that we had crates from Cats and Dogs, so somehow I managed to find them in the catalog, but I have no idea where they actually are. But I wanted to use those for coffee tables because we didn't really have any coffee tables that looked like they could be kind of made by the teens themselves, or any coffee table that looked overly used or anything like that. So I figured it would make sense to kind of have these crates as coffee tables instead. So I've used it both in here and also outside later on when I put down this little lounge area outside on the terrace or patio, whatever you call that area. And yeah, the rugs as well are from Get Famous, because as far as I remember, we only got 2 different rugs that have used swatches, so it looks like they've been stepped on quite a lot, like people have been dragging things across the rugs or just used them quite a lot. So we got those ones that are from Get Famous. I've had to reuse those a couple of times because they fit the interior, the vibe that I was going for perfectly. But we also got some that were from Vampires Game Pack. I didn't use those though because they had, like, the patterns on them were a little bit too fancy for me, and also a little bit too fancy for the trailers or the containers here, so I figured I would just reuse the other ones. Hopefully that's okay. Like, we have a limited amount of items in this game, so sometimes you gotta reuse them. So yeah, but this is actually the private area of the containers. So this is up where the club hangs out by themselves. So where the bar was, you can have any sim visiting that area if you want to, but this area up here is just for the club. So up here I decided to put a karaoke machine just for fun. I figured they'd need some kind of activity to have just by themselves. I think they're the only ones that got access to the bubble blowers. And what else did I put up here? I think just a little lounge area. So I used the city living couch again, and then I also used a base game couch that looks a little bit cheap to me, at least. I use it for cottages sometimes, but I figured it would kind of fit in here. I think I used it in purple as well. And this is when I realized that we got graffiti from Get Famous as well, so I placed that here and there around the containers as well, just to put some extra decor. But as you can see, like I said before, it's not the most furnished build, but there's definitely a lot of decor around the place. So there's a lot of stuff hanging on the walls and also a lot of graffiti outside, but there's not a lot of furniture that they can actually sit on. So, but I mean, when if you got a bunch of teens and they found these containers by themselves, I don't think they'd have a lot of money to buy furniture. So if we had more furniture in the game that looked used, like they could have possibly grabbed it from a, what you call that? Like a place where people dump old furniture or something like that, I don't remember what that's called in English, but if we had more furniture that looked used like that, like the couches and the chair I'm also using that are from City Living, I definitely would have put more furniture in here, because I feel like that kind of vibe goes perfectly with the sort of interior that I'm going with, but we don't have a lot of it, so I had to kind of limit the amount of furniture that I'm using. But I did go crazy with decor, so as you can see there's a lot of stuff on the walls. I also decided to give them the jukebox just because I think it's really cute, and it also looks kind of old. Maybe they found it somewhere, maybe one of the teens is kind of like really good at maybe they're really good at fixing stuff, maybe they got a high level in handiness or something, so they fixed the jukebox and it works for them and they can play music together up there or something like that. And then I just put this little thing over here. I don't know where that's from. I think it's from Get to Work, but I'm not entirely sure. It may also be from Get Famous or some other Get pack, I don't know. And then I just put some storage boxes and stuff just so they have this like little mess over there in the corner. And then I actually ended up opening up the area on top of the bottom container so that I could put a DJ booth up there and also a dance floor, so the club members can hang out up there as well and dance together or something like that, maybe like throw some small parties or something. So yeah, I thought that would be kind of cozy, kind of cute. And I know a lot of the activities on this lot is closed off to non-club members, but it's on purpose because this place is mainly meant for the club members. However, if you don't want to play with a club like that, you can just delete the club door and put in an archway instead, or another door, and everything will be open to everyone. It's just in my save file, I want this place to be for the teens, mainly for the club of teens. So that's why a lot of the activities are just open to them. And this is where they have their own toilet as well, or their own bathroom. There's also one that's open to the rest of the people that could visit this place or whatever. I really hope that I can manage to make a club like that, because I really want that to work. In my mind, I just have like a picture of these, not like, they're kind of like troublemakers a little bit, but they're still nice to their families. They just really like to hang out together, and when they hang out, you know, they cause a bit of trouble here and there basically. So they're not necessarily bad teens, they're just a little bit wild maybe. So I really hope that I can make a club like that and it actually works once the save file is over or done and you guys can download it, that the club will still be in the save file. Because I found out, because I planned to have all these different relationships across Sims in the save file, but I was updated on my Discord server that it doesn't actually work like that unless you got your households marked as you're playing them. the relationships will be deleted as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I understood it. So I'm not sure that relationships are possible, at least not for the majority of the Sims, but in my head, a lot of them are friends, you know, across families, across households, and have relationships or dating or whatever. Some of them hate each other as well, but I'm just hoping that somehow I can manage to fix that for the save file, because I feel like a save file like that would be a lot of fun, where there's story, you know, between the households as well as just in that, like, not just in the households, but like Sims across households have stories together as well, and relationships and all that stuff. But I don't know if it's possible anymore. I'm hoping it still is, but let me know if I understood that correctly or not, because that's something I really like. I'd really love to do that. But anyways, here on the patio, terrace area, whatever you're gonna call it, we put a little bit of a lounge area over in the corner, and then there's also this busker station, so it kind of looks like they could sit there and look at the person that's playing guitar at the station and maybe enjoy it, maybe not. By the way, if you're wondering what those bottles are, they're from the Debug catalog. I don't think they're supposed to be alcohol, actually. I think one of them at least is olive oil, if I'm not mistaken, but it kind of looks like an alcohol bottle, so I went with it. But I used a lot of those, and also glasses on the interior. You find them in the Debug catalog, so to enter the Debug catalog you have to, on PC, press ctrl-shift-C, and then you type in bb.showhiddenobjects, and then you press enter, and you'll find all these different items in the catalog. And then over on the left side of the screen right now, you can see there's a magnifying glass, and there's a bar next to the magnifying glass. In that bar, you type debug, and then you just press the one of them, and all these different items will turn up in the debug catalog. There's a lot of stuff. Sorry if you just heard me clap my hands. I'm one of those people that can't sit still when they're doing voiceovers, by the way, so sometimes I'll knock the microphone or clap my hands or punch the table or something else. So sorry about that, but anyways. So yeah, that's where you find the Debug catalog. You can have a lot of fun with that catalog, but I'm just warning you, there's a lot of stuff. It might take a while for it to load as well, because the more packs we get, the more stuff in the Debug catalog we get as well. So at this point, if you got all the packs, there's a lot of stuff in there, just warning you guys. But yeah, we're moving on to the landscaping, sort of. There's not a lot of landscaping, to be honest, but we're also in the desert, so I didn't really want there to be like too many flowers or anything. So I actually used a lot of the new cacti that we got unlocked that are from Strangerville. I was so excited when I saw that. Like, I was so excited because I haven't built a lot of the lots for Strangerville for my save file. So I'm super happy that they unlocked those, because that means I can use them when I finally move on to building in Strangerville again. So I am so happy about that. Also because we don't have a lot of cacti. We really don't. It's difficult, at least for me personally, I feel like it's difficult to landscape in more deserty areas like Oasis Springs here, because we don't have a lot of cacti or trees that would necessarily fit in here or anything. So I was really happy when I saw they unlocked them. Also the Joshua trees that actually, when I saw the Joshua, such a struggle saying that, Joshua trees, yes. When I saw those in Strangerville, I actually thought they were trees they made up themselves, because I've never seen a tree like that in real life. But then someone called it by its name, and I was like, wait a minute, is this an actual tree? Do trees like this exist in real life? Because I thought it was some kind of alien tree. It just looks so weird. But I'm really fascinated by them now, and they've unlocked those too, so I'm really excited to be able to use those as well, so yeah. So we moved on to the living quarters underneath the container. Like I said earlier in the video, I made sure that you can use this as a residential lot if you want to. So here we got, it's basically just like a very small space with both a kitchen, and there's a study area as well. I found a very used laptop that's super nasty, but it kind of fit the vibe of the build. so I went with it. It's also the first time I'm using the kitchen counters that are from City Living. They're base game counters that have been recolored, so they look a little bit more used. But I figured they would fit the kind of vibe as well, so I went with it. And yeah, it's just for a teen that's kind of creative. Like you can see, I put in a keyboard and also a microphone for the teen in case they want to practice some music skills or something like that. And they also have their own bathroom as well, which is very small. There's just a shower. I used the shower from Strangerville because I don't think I've used that one before. Yeah, I did for the bunker build, but that's it, to be honest, because it doesn't really fit in anywhere, but I feel like it fit this room perfectly, so I went with that as well. And then they just have a sink in there and a toilet, and that's about it. It's a very, very small bathroom. But I do like this little space out here. It's very decorated. There's kind of a lot of furniture, and I've really tried to find furniture that wouldn't necessarily fit together, obviously, but it does look like it have been used. Like they found it somewhere, because I don't think this teen has a lot of money. They just ran away from home for some reason. I don't really have a background story for this teen right now. I feel like I kind of have to do... Okay, for the save file, do you want this lot to be residential or do you want it to be a generic lot? Do let me know, because we can put a teen in here and then turn it into a residential lot, and then we can make sure that the teen living underneath the containers here is maybe the club leader or something like that. Let me know what you think. I can definitely do something like that. But when I decided to put living quarters underneath the containers, it was because I thought the containers would be kind of fun to play as a residential lot, and the teen would constantly have like friends over and hang out in the area or something like that. So that's kind of why I decided to put living quarters underneath the container. But if you don't want to play with it as a residential lot, you can just lock the door or just delete this area overall. You can do that too. Turn it into something else, maybe more private quarters for some of the teens to hang out in or something like that. But in my mind, I thought it would be fun to play the lot as a residential lot just now and then. So I decided to put living quarters underneath the other containers. But I think I may have a background story for the teen who ran away. So do let me know if you want this to be a generic lot in the save file or if you want it to be a residential lot, and I can definitely figure something out. But yeah, that's about it for this build actually. So if you do like it, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. As always, do let me know in the comment section down below if you got any ideas for anything you want to see here on the channel, and I will write it down in my planner. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye!